All right, and we're live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Executive Master Business Administration at the Africa Business School UM6P. Very happy to host you all in this webinar, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for making time out of your very busy schedules to join us today and learn more about the program. My name is Hasna Fikri. I am the head of student affairs at the Africa Business School UM6P, and it is my pleasure to be joined today by Professor David Hayes, academic director of the Executive Master's Business Administration program. Along with David Hayes, we have our esteemed success team, Youssef Moussaif, who is here to represent the admissions office, and also Aisha Harak Patan to represent the delivery team in her capacity of delivery manager. Professor Hayes, would you care to introduce yourself?
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for sharing your time with us. I'm David Hayes. I'm the academic director for the EMBA program. Have a few other titles. I'm the director of our Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and then I run our Innovation and Entrepreneurship Cluster. It's great being here with all of you.
Thank you so much for that. And so with that, just a couple of housekeeping items. We will be giving you an overview on the program for those of you who are interested in learning more about the program. So we'll be talking about the ins and outs of the program structure, what you can expect as a participant in this program. We'll also be going over the application process for those of you who are thinking about applying in the next couple of weeks and join us in October. And with that, Youssef will be covering the application process. For any questions regarding the implementation, logistical questions, Aisha will tackle those. So thank you for being here for that. And with that, let's get started. For those of you who are not very familiar with the Africa Business School or UM6P, although I'd be very surprised if that were the case, Africa Business School is the business school of UM6P. We really pride ourselves to really aim at being the inclusive hub of lifelong learners and lifelong learners and mindful doers. We really aim to transform sustainably the business and societal landscape in Africa and beyond. Africa Business School integrates scientific disciplines with management, promoting advanced decision-making and enriched learning capabilities to confidently address global challenges in our intricate world. We're proud to be part or to be the business school of UM6P. And as you all know, UM6P is the leading institution oriented towards applied research and innovation. And the university is really engaged in the economic and human development and puts research and innovation at the forefront of African development. This program is in collaboration of the esteemed Columbia Business School. And I'm going to turn things over to Professor David Hayes to talk to you about that aspect and all of the other aspects of the Executive Master's Business Administration here at ABS. Professor Hayes.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. A little bit about Columbia Business School. You may have heard of them. They're an Ivy League school based in the U.S. They're our collaboration partner with the EMBA. That's important for you to know because of the collaborative efforts that we have. The program is unique on the continent. It's unique in delivering to you African context materials that also are global in a perspective. And the way we do that is we combine the work from Columbia Business School with what we do. So when you engage in the program, you're going to engage in something that is a life-changing experience. We have some things on the screen here, but let me speak directly to this. Why the EMBA program? For me, it's important to always be a lifelong learner. That means you want to challenge yourself to continue to grow and be prepared for change in the future. We used to talk about change before COVID, and people said, yeah, things may change, but then COVID happens, and look what occurred. Everything changed for us. So we want you to be the future leader that's prepared to deal with uncertainty and ambiguity. Now, how do we do that within this program? We don't talk a lot about theory. We do some of that. We talk more about how you can apply this theory, this content to your daily life. What's going to make you a better manager, a better director, someday a better CEO of your organization. So we want to equip you with knowledge that allows you to explore an organization holistically. You may work in a department now, but we want you to know that department, but the organization as well as you know about what goes on in your department, what fits together, how do things work. We want to empower you with tools. Those tools, and we say this is techno fluency. What's the latest and greatest that exists now in different areas? What are things that you can use to take back to your organization to make that organization a success? This truly is a transformative experience. It gives you the ability of looking at yourself, reflecting on who you are, deciding what your vision for the future is, and then gathering the knowledge that gets you there, that knowledge that will allow you to achieve that vision. Now, how do we do that? Here's a program. It's done in a 20-month period. So in 20 months, you'll be done with the program. It's all English. Do we speak French as well? Yes, we do, if we need to explain some things in the course. You receive an executive master in business administration from us, but maybe importantly too, you receive a series of certificates from Columbia in leadership and business excellence and strategy. These are things that allow you to be very proud about what you have learned. Our academic content and the professors you'll meet in the program are unrivaled worldwide. So that's a little bit about what we're doing now. How do we do that? We do it through experiential learning. We try to give you an immersive experience across different kinds of disciplines. This is designed to make you the overall holistic leader that will power your organization to success. We start with you. We challenge you with your leadership skills. We call them soft skills. And today I would call them power skills for you. Who are you? Are you prepared to be a leader? We then give you tool sets and analytics. We expose you to the latest trends in finance and economics, many, many business things you can see that we expose you to. And of course, my favorite topic in terms of entrepreneurship, think of this as entrepreneurial. What are the things in your organization that will make you a change agent and your employees that work for you be innovators within the organization? So we've arranged this journey. It begins with an exploration of you, development of you, and then exposure to what's going on in modern business today. What are the tools and things that you need to know? We also have electives that are combined between Africa Business School and Columbia Business School, and maybe equally important are what we call immersion trips. So these are trips that will send you in the continent of Africa to explore business throughout Africa. This year, we're headed to Ghana. Last year, we were in South Africa. And the point of the trip is, one, of course, to have some fun, but two, to really understand how would you make business happen throughout the continent. We have a trip to New York City as well. This is to visit Columbia Business School to gather some more education, but at the same time to globally be placed in the center of global trade and global collaboration. That's New York City. So here you gain an experience of what happens globally. The second thing you do is you develop a network that is global. It's our network, which is significant, UM6P, but it combines that with the power of the Columbia network as well. You'll be an alumni from both our school, Africa Business School, as well as Columbia. And we encourage you to take advantage of that networking opportunity. You do all of this, and then we challenge you with one final thing. That's an action learning project. In that project, you will take all of the combined knowledge that you have learned, and you'll go apply it in the real world. So you'll work with industry. And within industry, you'll help companies review their strategy, review their operation. You'll make recommendations for them that they will go use to make a positive impact upon what they're trying to do. You'll work with a group of consultants to do that. We'll train you and we'll challenge you to take all that knowledge and now go apply it. So when you go back to your job, you've got the confidence that you could get the job done. So this experience, I summarize it by saying this: it's transformative. It's life changing. We will challenge you. We will look for you to also bring to us your knowledge, your expertise, share it with each other. We'll grow together. I highly encourage you to take the journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you for all those precisions. Maybe, a word on the program outcomes in terms of certificates and diploma as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mentioned earlier you'll earn a diploma from us. This is an executive master of business administration that you'll be proud to have achieved. You also earn 3 certificates from Columbia University. So Columbia Business School will award you a strategy certificate, a business excellence certificate, and then a leadership certificate as well. So you walk away with much more than, I would say, than a degree. You walk away with additional certificates that prove your mastery in areas. And above all, you walk away with being changed with this additional knowledge. Thank you. Selected faculty. Hey, look,
Yes.
I'm on the list. Hey, the
Yes.
point here with the faculty is this: these are international, worldwide known faculty members. We're all experts in our field. We're leading research in different areas, of course, of our domain expertise. You'll be exposed internationally to professors from all over the world, and you'll gain African context knowledge as well. We're very proud to show you how we can apply what we have here on our continent.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Professor Hayes, for those insights. And I'm going to turn it over to Youssef to go over the admission process and the application process as well. Youssef?
Yeah, thank you very much, Hasna. Hi, everyone. My name is Youssef Moussaïf, and I'm a former admission officer for the executive, supervising the admission process for the last 2 years. And let's dive into it. So the admission process is fairly straightforward. So once you filled the application on the website, you'll be recontacted by one of our admission officers who will answer any of your questions about the program and be at your side throughout the whole application process. So you start by sending them your application file, which consists of a resume, a cover letter, and optional letters of recommendation. And then you'll be invited to an interview. So the interview takes place in 2 stages. During the first one, we'll send you a case study that you have to analyze and answer several questions. And during the second phase of the interview, you'll face the jury, with which you will discuss your answers to the case study and dive into your motivations to join the program. And that's it. And then you'll be contacted once again by the admission officers in order to give you the admission results. So that's it for the admission process. It's, as I said, fairly straightforward. The time lapse between the moment you send your application and the moment you have your interview is 1 to 2 weeks max. Thank you very much, Asna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Youssef. And then maybe Aisha, do you have any insights that you think our participants or our actually audience here would be interested in knowing from your perspective as a delivery manager?
Yes, so my part in the program as a delivery manager, as well as the delivery team in general, is just to make the whole transition and process into coming to our campus or the Bengurir campus, whatever it may be, as smooth and effortless as possible. It's to make sure that everything you need is taken care of from our side. It's to make sure you have the best experience and that you are able to really focus on your learning journey rather than worrying about everything else and all the logistical aspects that sometimes stress people out. So yes, we're from our side trying to make your journey with us on the EMBA program as smooth as possible, as efficient and effective, and also as fun as possible for you all.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Aisha. And with that, that's the end of our presentation for you today. We welcome any questions you may have, so feel free to put them in the comments box for us to answer any question for our panelists today. So go ahead. And while we wait for question, Professor Hayes, would you like to add anything that you think would be of interest to our audience here?
Yeah, I sure would. Yeah. A couple of things that I think, and thanks for joining us. We really do appreciate it. We have an excellent team and we have an excellent program. I usually get asked, okay, if I'm going to join a program, how do I do this with my work? Okay, so there is work-life balance for sure. It is a challenge. You will challenge yourself because it's additional things. You will get in the flow of the work. It's probably about 4 hours per week that you'll have. You'll have a course every month. That course is delivered to you in person, but it's also hybrid. What does that mean? That means that before you come for the in-person 2 days on a Friday, Saturday, usually, we will open up the coursework on our learning management system, and we'll ask you to do some pre-work, to learn some things, watch some videos, talk, collaborate with your colleagues before you show up so you can advance your knowledge. So when you do work with us during the live sessions, we can be further along than if we're going to teach basic concepts. We want to use the time while you're here wisely. We want to use it for experiential learning. So think about 4 hours per week you'll put into this. Think about group projects. There is group work involved. This is so you can collaborate, so you can together share your information and make each other better. The final thing that Aisha mentioned is we have 2 amazing campuses. You see a little bit of our campus behind us here. This is in Rabat, but we have an equally amazing campus in Bangladesh, close to Marrakesh. And we try to give you a very robust experience where we'll do some of the classes in Bangladesh that relate to science and technology. So you get an immersive experience. If you've not been to our campuses, you're gonna love it. Really, it's unlike anything else you've seen. All of us probably were amazed when we showed up to work on our campuses. Other than that, I would challenge you to learn more. I would challenge you to join our group of really a diverse profile of people. We have anywhere from technical people to artists to people who have attended Peace Corps to entrepreneurs. So you're getting, and this is from out Africa, you're getting a very robust experience for the people that you will learn from, your colleagues, is what I would say. We do have a question here. I think this is maybe one of our Yusuf questions, huh? Okay. Somebody would like to,
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Lutfi is saying, I joined at the end of the presentation. Is there a way to receive the presentation? I would also like to know how I can apply to the EMBA starting date participants profile. Thank you for the participants profile. I was just going to ask you about that, Professor Hayes. So yes, we can send you the the presentation if you leave your email address here. And we can follow up with you, Lutfi. No worries about that. As to when you can apply and the starting date, Yusuf, would you like to take that?
Of course, yeah. The program starts the 28th of October, but there's still time to apply. You have until the second week of September, Friday the 13th, I think. So you have to send us your resume, cover letter, and optional recommendation letters if you have. And then you'll be contacted by one of our admissions officer in order to follow you during the process.
Thank you. And maybe a word on the participants profile. How do you, if you can provide some insights on that?
Of course. So about the participant profile, so we have our age average in the cohort is about 35 to 36 years old. We have very different profiles overall, but most importantly, all of our participants are fairly experienced. So we ask a minimum of 10 years of experience. Also 3 years minimum of managerial experience and a good level in English. So English fluency is very important as Professor David said. The whole program is in English. We have sometimes some sessions in French, but it's fairly rare. But overall, you need to have a good level in English because not all of our professors are French speaking. So it's a must.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Youssef. Professor Hayes, would you like to add anything?
I think he's really covered that really well. The beauty for me is the diversity now within the group. It's sharing, it's people that are from different parts of companies, and it's from people from different industries. So like we said, this year, industry includes anywhere on from entrepreneurship, as well as people who are more an NGO, the NGO, non-government operating sector. So this is the idea, is getting people together to share. We give you some good content. We're there to moderate and then have you learn together. So I think he's got the profile down pat. So thank you.
Yeah, and with that diversity, I think that would foster amazing opportunities in terms of networking as well.
Yeah, that's the point, and what happens is you challenge your beliefs because you're within a company, and then you start talking to people outside of that company, and it gives you different perspectives on that company and its operations. The networking opportunities, you take advantage of those. I mentioned also Colombia. So when we go to Colombia, we really, really encourage, what business are you in? What's your vision for your future? Let's start connecting with this global network. And when you're finished with the program, you utilize that network to improve yourself as well as your organization.
Absolutely. And Aisha, feel free to chime in. I think your perspective is also very much invaluable here. Meanwhile, we have another question from another audience member here, Sarah. Thank you so much, Lutfi, for that question. And feel free to reach out to us directly via email. Our email address, and we'll provide that at the end, is ABS, right? ABS admissions at UM6P.ma. So feel free to reach out to us and be more than happy to assist with the presentation and more details. And if you have any questions. For Sarah here, very interesting presentation. I also would like to know if there is any financial aid or scholarship.
Okay, so regarding the scholarships, as of now, we do not provide any financial help. We have some options regarding the payments and stuff, but we'll be very happy to discuss with you these different payment methods during your admission process.
Right. And it, there is an installment plan if, that, helps participants usually. And so like Youssef said, we'd be more than happy to provide more details on that. So feel free to reach out to us directly and we can talk about those, payment plan and maybe other financial aid possibilities as well. Nawal, thank you so much. Nawal Sakat, would you please advise on what is the timeline to know if we can be a participant to this program? I think you can still apply to the program, Nawal, so feel free to go ahead and fill out your application and just provide your resume. The application process, like Youssef said, is very streamlined. So all you need is your application, basically, to fill it out and attach your resume, recommendation, optional, and a cover letter that's also needed. Thanks, Nawal.
Youssef, do you want to remind us again of the timeline for application?
Absolutely. So you have until Friday the 13th, which is in 2 weeks' time from now.
Yes, because after that we are holding, interview sessions as well. So we do the application reviews, and then we move forward with the interviews. So just make sure you apply as soon as you can.
Yeah, and I should mention that our first point of contact after you are accepted in the program will be an induction week.
Yes.
So, and I'll generally speak about it. Then if my colleagues want to talk about that, it's an amazing opportunity to get immersed in the program, to learn more about it, to learn about your colleagues, to start connecting with your colleagues, to have the ability of starting to, I would say, bond together. And then you start moving through the program. So we're going to put you at ease. We're going to tell you all about the program. We're going to have you start working together with each other. And it's a great kickoff week, and that is scheduled for the end of October.
Thank you, David. Another question from Lutfi. Thank you for being so engaged. So they're saying, I understood that the MBA is prepared with the Columbia University. How does this collaboration translate in the program content? David?
Yeah, sure.
Question.
And thank you. I'll take that. It translates greatly into our program. We work together on putting together a future master or MBA experience. So number one, we do this. We look at what are the future needs, what are the future trends. We do that together with Columbia. Columbia then takes their top-rated content, and that is taught within our program, including our top-rated content. We also have won innovation awards and higher education for our content. So together, you're getting this immersive experience where we work with each other. So we end up with really strong content that's global, but two, that has an African focus or African context to it. So it's a great question, but that collaboration, you will talk to our graduates and they will tell you this, the content is superior. And I'm proud to say that. And I'm proud to back it up with my content as well as the rest of the program.
Wonderful. Thank you, David. Ismail Badou is asking, how big will be the next cohort?
Same as last year, 50 people.
Yeah. We'd like to keep it small to foster collaboration and exchange opportunities. So we want to keep a smaller program. So thank you for that.
Exactly. We only have one intake per year. It's in October. And always the same number of participants, which is 50.
Right. And Aisha, would you like to speak to the the size of the cohort, how that facilitates actually the networking opportunities amongst the participants? Any insights you have on that, since you are so close to the participants while they are in the program?
Definitely. So I think Yusuf mentioned that it's about 50 people, which is, from my experience, been a very good number to kind of stick with. It's also, from my experience this year with this cohort, it's people from kind of all over the world, really. Different countries in Africa. Obviously, of course, there are Moroccans, but just that alone makes for very interesting networking for sure. I think you see it a lot when you attend the courses and you see the different perspectives you kind of get from people from different cultures, different ideas, different kind of backgrounds. So that plays a role. And I think the number that was chosen of having 50 people in each cohort kind of gives that proper balance between not having too many people where the professor is kind of overwhelmed and you don't really know your let's say classmates too well, and you're not really able to network that well. And then but also at the same time it gives you that experience of being able to work on your individual kind of needs and projects, as well as in group settings, which kind of pushes for that networking, whether you're kind of looking for that or not. It's the opportunity is there that it's too hard to kind of ignore. Yeah.
That is great. Thank you so much, Aisha. And maybe you can take that question too, along with Professor Hayes. Audience member is asking, I don't have the name here, but they're asking, could you please provide more details on how the course schedules are structured, particularly considering our demanding workloads as executives? Good question.
Yes, definitely a good question. Maybe I could start it off and then Professor David can go into a bit more detail. So for the schedule for the courses, you have normally one course a month, sometimes two, just depending on the month. We try not to condense the courses too much together, so that, of course, we know you have professional and personal lives. We don't want the program to completely take over your life. As Professor Hayes mentioned before, we do have the sessions on kind of the weekend, so usually takes up Friday and Saturday. There is the unique circumstance of the courses that are in collaboration when we have Columbia professors come visit us in Rabat, in which case it would be 5 days on campus. But of course, everyone already has the schedule ahead of time, so you're able to plan more effectively, more efficiently with your other demands and other schedules. What else could I say to that? Yeah, I think that's about it. Maybe David, you could take over that.
Thank you so much. Just to add really quickly to that, we know you have a busy schedule. We understand that. This is why we try to plan things sort of around your work. There is no getting by. It does require extra work. That is the reality, I think, of a great master's program to challenge yourself. I always said when I got my master's degree, how am I going to do all of this? The first 2 months of my program, and this happens in our program, this is going on, a lot's happening quickly, but then you fall into the rhythm, into the pattern, and before you know it, you're done. And literally you have a moment to saying, wow, now what am I going to do with all this time? I would plan on about 4 hours a week committing to the program. I think that's a reasonable thing to ask. 2, every month, generally, you heard that you're taking a course. We do have the entire schedule for you, so you can see well into the next 20 months what your schedule would be like. And there are, on occasion, as Aisha said, these weeks that we have an immersive week, happens to be going on right now. We have 2 of these in a 20-month period. This happens to be the second of those for a particular cohort that's going on right now. So you'll have plenty of time to plan. You'll have plenty of time to figure out how does it work. It is mostly in person for those 2 days. I mentioned to you there's pre-work beforehand that you do at your convenience, that you do online. Okay, so that's just to prepare you. And for me, so I'm reading some of these things about are there online components? There are online things we ask you to do before you come. Some professors ask you to do online things after the 2 days to kind of wrap up the session. So it is primarily face-to-face, primarily for those 2 days per month, but there are online things that go on as well. I think we call it a hybrid approach. It is the future of what goes on now in master's education. Online, do it by yourself, preparation, come hang out, talk with your peers, get mentorship from the professor, wrap it up on your own pace after you leave us. So that's generally how it is all structured.
Thank you, Professor. And I think that answers the other question that we had. I'm sorry, did I interrupt?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
So there are, we if it is a problem for you to be here, you may consider some of our online offerings instead. But the executive program needs a component of when you're here in person.
Absolutely. And thank you for those insights. And I think, Zuhair, that answers your question as well. For the last question here that we have from Sarah, for the African experience, does it include an internship or project in one of the African countries? And I think that's optional, is it not?
No. Well, okay. So there, yes and no. I'll answer it that way, right? Sounds like a professor. For our Africa trip, we have an immersion week that we invite you to go with us on a trip to experience another country. This is optional. Okay, so this year we go to Ghana, but it's an amazing experience. We learn all about business in the context this time of Ghana and within Africa, and then you have some fun as well. The other part to this, though, is we do have action learning. So we do have a project of action learning where you serve as a consultant. I mentioned that, and that is this year with other with companies that are in other countries in Eastern Africa. And we plan on continuing that, adding in Moroccan context to it, but to get you outside of Morocco to sort of push you in a direction to learn more. So the answer here is yes, there is a trip you can take for the immersion week, but two, our projects also relate to outside of Morocco.
And thank you so much for that insight, Professor Hayes. And I think I'm not seeing any additional questions in the comments section. So if any of the panelists would like to add any other information that you think would be relevant to anybody who's thinking maybe about applying for this next cohort, feel free to share before we close our webinar today.
Yes, I say just do it. The beginning of change always occurs with you having to take an action. And it's, we can talk about it. We can say, wouldn't it be great? I can tell you it is transformative and life-changing. But that does require you to take that first step, fill out the application, and then go for it. And before you know it, seriously, 20 months goes by very quickly. Before you know it, you'll be a transformed person. If you speak to the participants after they graduate, a year, 2, 3 later, they have transformed themselves in their careers. You can do the same. So go for it.
Wonderful. And thank you so much, David. Yusuf and Aisha, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would like to add on Professor David's reflection. Yeah, having been with the admission team for the last 2 years and having worked on that program, which is very, very dear to me, I talk a lot with the participants, especially when they're in the application process. And when I talk to them 6 months, maybe a year after they got in the program, they all say the same thing. They were all confused about whether or not they should have they should do the MBA in the first place. And then after 8 to 10 modules, they're all really happy. So I invite all the potential participants to the program to reach out to our alumni. We have a lot of alumni because this cohort will be our 8th. So feel free to reach out to them and talk to them more in depth about their feelings about the program. And I'm sure that you'll have every answer you need and encouragement to enter the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yusuf. There is another question actually. Is there a way to get in touch with you directly other than the email and phone number? Yes, of course. We welcome campus visits. If you're ever in Rabat, we would welcome you on campus. Just, we need to set that up for you. So as a first, maybe, outreach, just reach out to us via phone call or email, and we can set up a in-person visit on campus, and we can talk to you one-on-one and answer any lingering questions you may have about the program or attending ABS in general. So feel free to reach out to the email address we're going to be showing in a moment.
Is there any WhatsApp number we can give people?
I don't think, Yusuf, do we have any WhatsApp number we can share?
Absolutely. I'll give you the WhatsApp number of our colleague, Mr. Atman Shmao, who's in charge of the program as of now, and I'll send it in the commentary box.
Thank you very much, Yusuf. I didn't have quite the access to that, so thank you. And also, if you can also add the email address, that would be fantastic. Thanks so much. And
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So thank you, Professor Hayes. Thank you, Yusuf and Aisha, for joining us. Thank you to all of you who were interested in learning more about the program, thinking maybe about joining our next cohort. We'd be more than happy to answer any lingering questions you may still have about the program. Remember that you can still apply. You still have time, 2 weeks. before we start reviewing applications. The application review process is holistic. So the admissions committee takes a look at everything that you will be submitting, from your resume to your cover letter. So do not hesitate to reach out to us if you have questions, or to apply to the program if you are ready. So thank you all, and have a great evening.